Candice, Hollywood bets Kenilworth on Saturday the 20th. You look like you've got a number of runners through the day that could be competitive. But starting in race 2, you've got Iko. Had the his first run, has he come on from that effort?
He needed his first run quite badly, Vicky. He got very tired. A little bit shin sore after that run, so I've been struggling a little bit with his shins at home. But he's a nice colt. I think he's come on from that run, and I would be expecting a better run from him this time if he doesn't find it a little bit too firm for his shins. But otherwise, he's come on well enough at home to run an improved race.
Race 3, you've got Babylicious, promising debut. Do you think that she could be competitive on that run?
Yeah, because she was a very nice debut from her. She finished her race off very nicely. You know, I think a run obviously brings them on quite a bit. She's a lovely filly, and I think she still needs a little bit of time, I think, to furnish to where I think she should be and what I think she will develop into at a later stage. But, you know, she does everything so well at home. So it's always tricky when you're taking on horses that, you know, are unraced and you're not sure what you're taking on. But she's doing well enough, and if she comes on enough from that first run, then I think she'll have a good chance there.
Race 4, you've got Kailami Girl. She's had the 2 runs early in her career, obviously a long layoff. Will she need this run back?
It's hard to say because she's obviously had a long layoff. She's a big, burly, strong filly, so she takes a huge amount of work. She's had a gallop at Kenilworth here, so I'm hoping that I've done, you know, enough with her. I've certainly done as much as I possibly can with her. She's a filly that shows lots of ability. Obviously on her form, you know, those 2 runs, she should have a good chance here. Expecting a good run from her, and if she doesn't need it, she certainly would have a winning chance.
Race 5, it's the maiden 1600. You've got the 3 runners. First, the English Mistress, who is in very good form.
Yeah, Vicky, she's tricky. I wish I could find a maiden 2-4 or 2000 for her, but there just aren't any of those. And every time there's a filly's 18 or 2000, the race falls away. So it's been difficult to try and find her a race. She might find the mile a touch on the sharp side, but I think with the long run in at Kenilworth, that certainly will help. She doesn't show a lot at home. She's very lazy in her work at home, and she doesn't show much at all. So always a little tricky to assess her, but her form on the grass is obviously a lot better. If she doesn't find the mile too sharp, she certainly will be running on.
The other 2 runners, you've got St. Bridget and also Flamboyant Flyer.
Yeah, Flamboyant Flyer just never cracks a drawn again. She's drawn badly, so she's been very frustrating to try and race. Because she just never gets a chance to get in the race anyway. So again, a bad draw, so she'll have her work cut out from that draw. The other filly, she's only had the 2 runs. She was very green here last time, and she got a bump on the turn. She almost fell, and she actually ended up running on quite nicely. So I think with a better chance in the running this time, she showed ability her first run. She's a tall, light filly, also probably looking for further, but I think she should run a fair race this time.
Race 7, the class 4 over the 1800 metres, a competitive field, but you've got Lord Firefield, who got a lightweight, and last time out maybe a little bit below his best first run back from gelding. Has he been better for that run?
I think, Vicky, last time out he was drawn badly, and you know, he ended up going around the field and he was pulling the whole way in front. So I think you can possibly put a line through that run. He's quite nicely weighted here today. I think it's a nice sort of trip for him. I think he'll run a much better race this time if he settles a bit more in the race. The other horse, Weather King, won a very nice race, first run out the maidens. He'd come on a lot. Whether or not he can win 3 in a row is a hard call, but he certainly won't disgrace himself. I think he'll run another good race, but a little bit more competitive this time.
Race 8, Lunch Money, the 1000 metres, is that going to be a little bit sharp for him?
Possibly it is, Vicky. You know, this is probably going to be his last run, and it didn't look like a very big field. Initially when we did noms, it looked like a smallish field, and there wasn't a huge amount of form in that race, so I thought we'll take our chances. I've worked him at home with a tongue tie on because he's been getting his tongue over the bit a lot, and he worked a lot better with that on. So yeah, 1000 might be a bit on the sharp side, but he's always there and thereabouts.
Race 9, the 2 runners, 2 lovely fillies in Nordic Quest, who comes down in trip, and then also Give Me the Waltz.
Give Me the Waltz, also brought her down in trip last time. She ran a great race. She just didn't quite get up. I think she'll prefer the 12 this time. She looks very well and she's doing well. I think it's quite an open race this time around. I think last time was a little bit of an easier race for her. But she's obviously got an each way chance. And the other filly I'm bringing back to 12. Last time she was racing up handy, possibly a little bit on the far side for her. So I've just reset, start over in a 12, drop her in and get her to run on nicely, get her confidence back again, and then we'll see where we go from there distance-wise. But she's a big filly. She shows nice work at home, so I'm hoping that resetting and starting again now might be what she needs.
And then your day ends in race 10 in the graduation plate, Jerusalem Rain. He's got good earlier form. Controversial question, do you think he's a little bit too high in the ratings?
Possibly, yes, Vicky. He's been a little bit frustrating. I've actually really got him well at the moment. I think he's finally turned the corner. You know, been on the farm and had a break, and it's taken quite some time to get him back to where I think he looks well enough. Plus his work has been a lot better at home. I would love to have sprinted him, and I had him in on that race on Met Day, but that has also fallen away. So he's running in the 14, a graduation, obviously a nice type of race for him at the ratings. He's doing a lot better at home, so sometimes those last few runs on the turn here, he just doesn't seem to want to gallop. So we'll just have to see. He got into a little bit of trouble last time as well. So I'm hoping that this will be probably his best run out of all the runs he's had here, and looking at that field, if he does put his best foot forward, then he should be competitive.